As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie glow over the dense forest, a group of friends huddled around a crackling campfire. They were on a weekend camping trip, seeking adventure and escape from the monotony of city life. Little did they know, their peaceful getaway would soon descend into a nightmare they would never forget. Among the group was Sarah, a fearless thrill-seeker always up for an adrenaline rush, Jake, her loyal and level-headed best friend, Mia, the adventurous and free-spirited nature lover, and Tyler, the jokester who never took anything too seriously. As the night wore on, laughter filled the air, accompanied by the soothing sounds of the wilderness. But just as they were about to retire to their tents, a chilling howl echoed through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. Sarah brushed it off as a harmless wolf, but Jake couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The next morning, they discovered strange symbols carved into the trees surrounding their campsite. Mia, always fascinated by the supernatural, suggested they might be symbols of protection or warning. Tyler joked about it, dismissing the symbols as a prank by local teenagers. As night fell again, tension simmered among the group. Sarah tried to lighten the mood with scary stories around the fire, but the atmosphere remained tense. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes interrupted their conversation. Jake, ever vigilant, grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the darkness to investigate. Before they could react, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, wielding a gleaming knife. Panic ensued as they scattered, trying to escape the clutches of the deranged killer. Sarah, Mia, and Tyler ran for their lives, their screams piercing the night. In the chaos, they became separated, each facing their own terrifying ordeal. Sarah stumbled upon an old bunker, its entrance concealed beneath layers of foliage. With nowhere else to turn, she descended into the darkness, hoping to find safety within its walls. Meanwhile, Mia and Tyler found themselves trapped in a labyrinth of tunnels beneath the cabin. Every turn led to dead ends or more horrors, a room filled with grisly trophies, a makeshift altar adorned with bones, and signs of recent activity indicating the killer was near. As they struggled to stay one step ahead of their pursuer, Sarah discovered the bunker held secrets of its own. It was a makeshift shelter filled with supplies, a hiding place for someone who knew the forest intimately. With no way to communicate with her friends, Sarah hunkered down, determined to survive the night. The sound of footsteps reverberated through the bunker, signaling the killer's approach. Sarah held her breath, clutching a makeshift weapon, ready to defend herself. But just as the killer reached the entrance, a deafening roar echoed through the forest. A massive creature, half human and half beast, burst into the bunker, its eyes wild with fury. The killer's screams mingled with the creature's roars as chaos erupted. In the confusion, Sarah seized the opportunity to escape, fleeing into the night as the forest erupted into chaos behind her. As dawn broke, Sarah stumbled upon a ranger station, her mind reeling from the horrors she had witnessed. She frantically told her story to the authorities, pleading for them to find her friends and stop the killer. But as the search teams combed the forest, they found no trace of the cabin, the bunker, or the creature. It was as though they had vanished without a trace, leaving only Sarah's harrowing account as evidence of the horrors that lurked in the woods. The forest stood silent and foreboding, the shadows stretching ominously as night descended once again. Sarah huddled in the ranger station, haunted by the events of the previous night. The authorities, skeptical of her wild tale, promised to continue the search for her missing friends but urged her to stay put for her own safety. Alone in the dimly lit cabin, Sarah's mind raced with questions. What had she witnessed in that forsaken bunker? Where were Mia, Tyler, and Jake? And what was the truth behind the monstrous creature that had saved her from the serial killer? As the hours dragged on, Sarah's solitude became suffocating. Every creak of the cabin, every rustle of the wind, sent her heart pounding in fear. She tried to distract herself with mundane tasks, but the memories of that night clawed at her mind, refusing to be ignored. When sleep finally overcame her, it brought no respite. Nightmares plagued her dreams, a relentless pursuit through dark woods, the killer's maniacal laughter echoing around her, and glimpses of her friends' terrified faces. Dawn broke with a muted light, casting a pall over the forest. Sarah ventured outside, hoping for news of the search efforts. But the ranger station remained eerily quiet, devoid of any signs of life. Anxiety gnawed at her as she realized she was truly alone in this desolate place. Determined to find answers, Sarah set out on her own search. She retraced their steps from the camping trip, following the trail of symbols they had discovered around their campsite. Each carved mark felt like a breadcrumb leading her deeper into the heart of darkness. Hours turned into days as Sarah pressed on, her determination fueled by desperation. She stumbled upon abandoned cabins, long forgotten by civilization, and remnants of old campfires, but there was no sign of her friends or the killer's lair. Nightfall brought with it a renewed sense of dread. Sarah sought shelter in an old hunting lodge, its walls adorned with faded trophies and the musty scent of decay lingering in the air. She barricaded the doors and windows, praying for a night of undisturbed rest. But the night had other plans. Whispers echoed through the lodge, disembodied voices speaking in hushed tones. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting into grotesque shapes. Sarah's grip on reality wavered as fear consumed her. Just as she thought she couldn't bear it any longer, a voice pierced the darkness, a familiar voice calling her name. Startled, Sarah searched the empty rooms, finding nothing but emptiness. Was it a trick of her exhausted mind, or was there someone else out there, watching her every move? Morning brought little solace as Sarah ventured out once more, determined to uncover the truth. She stumbled upon an old cemetery hidden deep in the woods, its tombstones weathered and forgotten. Among them, she found a name etched in stone, Elias Blackwood. The name sent a chill down her spine, triggering a memory from her childhood, a local legend whispered among the townsfolk. Elias Blackwood was said to be a recluse who roamed these woods, a man twisted by isolation and darkness. Rumors spoke of strange rituals, missing hikers, and a curse that hung over the forest like a shroud. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, Sarah delved deeper into the legend of Elias Blackwood. She unearthed old newspaper clippings, police reports, and eyewitness accounts, all pointing to a dark history hidden within these woods. The pieces of the puzzle began to align, a series of unsolved disappearances, sightings of a masked figure, and strange occurrences tied to the Blackwood family estate, long abandoned and shrouded in mystery. With newfound determination, Sarah set her sights on the Blackwood estate, determined to uncover the secrets that lay dormant within its walls. But as she approached the decrepit mansion, a sense of unease washed over her. The estate was a maze of overgrown gardens, crumbling statues, and twisted corridors. Every step felt like a descent into madness, the air thick with the weight of centuries-old secrets. As Sarah ventured deeper into the mansion, she encountered remnants of a life once lived, a child's toy left forgotten, faded portraits staring down with accusing eyes, and journals filled with cryptic writings hinting at forbidden knowledge. But her exploration was cut short by a chilling realization: the mansion was not abandoned. Someone, or something, lurked within its decaying walls, watching her every move. Sarah's heart raced as she navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Blackwood estate. Every shadow seemed to writhe with hidden malice, and every creak of the old floorboards echoed like a sinister whisper. She stumbled upon a hidden chamber, its entrance concealed behind a tapestry depicting scenes of a bygone era. Pushing aside the heavy fabric, Sarah entered the chamber, her breath catching in her throat at the sight before her. The room was a macabre tableau, a collection of oddities and artifacts that spoke of dark rituals and arcane practices. Shelves lined with dusty tomes bound in human skin, a pentagram etched into the stone floor, and jars filled with preserved organs adorned the chamber. As Sarah's eyes adjusted to the dim light, she noticed a journal lying open on a makeshift altar. The pages were filled with ramblings and incantations, written in a hand that seemed to shift and warp as she read. The journal spoke of Elias Blackwood's descent into madness, his obsession with the occult, and his pact with dark forces that promised power at a terrible cost. It hinted at rituals conducted in the dead of night, sacrifices made to appease ancient entities, and a curse that bound the Blackwood bloodline to the forest itself. Fear gripped Sarah's heart as she realized the implications of what she had uncovered. The disappearances, the symbols, the legends, all tied back to the dark legacy of Elias Blackwood and his unholy pact. Before she could delve further into the journal, a sound echoed through the chamber, a soft, mournful wail that sent chills down her spine. Sarah's instincts screamed at her to flee, but her curiosity compelled her to investigate. Following the sound, she found herself in a hidden chamber beneath the estate, its walls adorned with symbols of protection and warding. At the center of the chamber lay a stone sarcophagus, sealed shut with ancient runes. A sense of dread washed over Sarah as she realized the significance of the sarcophagus. It was said to contain the remains of Elias Blackwood himself, bound by powerful magic to prevent his return. But as she approached, a voice whispered in her mind, a voice that spoke of promises and power, of secrets long buried and forgotten. It beckoned her closer, promising answers to the questions that plagued her. Against her better judgment, Sarah reached out to the sarcophagus, her fingers trembling as they brushed against the cold stone. A surge of energy coursed through her, a whisper of ancient knowledge seeping into her consciousness. Visions flashed before her eyes, images of Elias Blackwood conducting dark rituals, communing with entities from beyond the veil, and unlocking secrets that should have remained hidden. The curse that bound the Blackwood family, the disappearances in the forest, the monstrous creature that saved her, all pieces of a puzzle that threatened to consume her sanity. With a gasp, Sarah pulled away, the visions fading but leaving an indelible mark on her mind. She staggered back, the weight of her discoveries bearing down on her like a crushing weight. As she stumbled out of the hidden chamber and back into the estate's corridors, Sarah knew that she had crossed a threshold from which there was no turning back. The darkness that lurked within the Blackwood estate had seeped into her soul, leaving her teetering on the edge of madness. But amidst the fear and uncertainty, a spark of determination ignited within her. She would uncover the truth, confront the horrors that lurked in the shadows, and find a way to break the curse that bound them all. With newfound resolve, Sarah ventured deeper into the estate, her footsteps echoing in the empty halls. The night stretched on, each moment fraught with tension and dread. And as the darkness closed in around her, Sarah knew that the true horror of the Blackwood estate had yet to reveal itself. As Sarah delved deeper into the secrets of the Blackwood estate, the air grew heavier with a palpable sense of malevolence. Every step she took felt like a descent into madness, the walls of the ancient mansion closing in around her like a suffocating embrace. She stumbled upon hidden passages and forgotten chambers, each revealing more of the estate's dark history. Strange whispers followed her, taunting and tempting, as if the very walls themselves were alive with malignant intent. In one chamber, Sarah discovered a collection of old photographs, faded images of the Blackwood family spanning generations. But as she studied the faces captured in time, she noticed a recurring motif, a dark figure lurking in the background of each photo, its features obscured by shadow. The realization sent a chill down her spine. Was this the same figure she had glimpsed in the woods, the one who had saved her from the serial killer? And what connection did it have to the cursed legacy of the Blackwood family? Driven by a mix of fear and determination, Sarah pressed on, determined to uncover the truth no matter the cost. She found herself drawn to a locked door at the end of a hidden corridor, its surface etched with intricate symbols and sigils. With trembling hands, Sarah traced the patterns, feeling a faint hum of energy beneath her fingertips. The door yielded to her touch, swinging open to reveal a chamber bathed in a sickly green light. Inside, Sarah found herself face to face with a twisted tableau, a ritualistic altar adorned with candles, ancient tomes bound in human skin, and a portrait of Elias Blackwood himself, his eyes seeming to follow her every move. As she approached the altar, a voice echoed through the chamber, a rasping whisper that spoke of promises and sacrifices. Sarah recoiled, her instincts screaming at her to flee, but something compelled her to stay. The voice belonged to a spectral figure, a wraith-like apparition clad in tattered robes, its eyes burning with an otherworldly light. It identified itself as the guardian of the Blackwood legacy, bound to protect the secrets hidden within the estate. The guardian spoke of Elias Blackwood's descent into darkness, his obsession with forbidden knowledge, and his pact with entities from the void. It revealed that the cursed bloodline of the Blackwoods was intertwined with ancient powers, passed down through generations to those deemed worthy, or cursed, to inherit the legacy. Sarah's mind reeled with the implications of what she was hearing. The disappearances in the forest, the creature that had saved her, the whispers and shadows that haunted her every step, all tied back to the cursed lineage of Elias Blackwood and the dark forces that lurked within the estate. But amidst the revelations, the Guardian offered Sarah a choice, a chance to embrace the darkness and claim the power that lay dormant within her bloodline. It spoke of unlocking her true potential, of wielding the very forces that had shaped the Blackwood legacy for centuries. Temptation warred with fear as Sarah grappled with the decision before her. Should she embrace the darkness and seek power beyond her wildest dreams, or should she reject the legacy that threatened to consume her? As she stood at the crossroads of destiny, the mansion seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, its walls closing in around her like a predatory beast. The Guardian's gaze bore into her soul, awaiting her decision with bated breath. As Sarah stood before the Guardian of the Blackwood legacy, the weight of her decision bore down on her like a crushing weight. The offer of power, of tapping into ancient forces beyond comprehension, was both alluring and terrifying. She knew that whichever path she chose would shape her fate and the fate of those around her. The chamber seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, the candles flickering ominously as if in anticipation. The Guardian's eyes bore into Sarah, its voice a haunting echo in the stillness of the room. "You have the blood of the Blackwoods within you," the Guardian intoned, its voice reverberating with an unearthly resonance. "Embrace your legacy, and all the power of the Ancient Ones shall be yours." Sarah's mind raced with conflicting thoughts. On one hand, the allure of power and knowledge beckoned to her, promising a means to protect herself and unravel the mysteries that had plagued her since that fateful camping trip. On the other hand, she feared the consequences of delving into the darkness, of becoming a pawn in a game she barely understood. As she hesitated, torn between temptation and caution, the Guardian's spectral form seemed to waver, its features shifting like smoke in the wind. It reached out a ghostly hand, offering Sarah a book bound in cracked leather, a grimoire containing the forbidden secrets of the Blackwood legacy. "Take this, and the path to your destiny shall be revealed," the Guardian whispered, its voice a siren's call laced with danger. Sarah hesitated, her hand hovering over the ancient tome. She could feel the power emanating from its pages, a tantalizing promise of knowledge and abilities beyond mortal comprehension. But she also sensed the darkness that lurked within, a darkness that threatened to consume her if she dared to delve too deep. Outside the chamber, the mansion seemed to groan and shift, as if reacting to the pivotal moment unfolding within its walls. Shadows danced in the corners, and the air grew heavy with a sense of impending doom. With a deep breath, Sarah made her decision. She reached out and took the grimoire, feeling a surge of energy course through her veins. The Guardian's eyes gleamed with approval, and a smile played at the edges of its spectral form. "You have chosen wisely," the Guardian murmured. "Now, the true journey begins." As Sarah flipped through the pages of the grimoire, she felt a rush of information flooding her mind, ancient incantations, rituals of power, and the secrets of harnessing the energies of the void. It was both exhilarating and terrifying, like standing at the edge of a bottomless abyss. Armed with newfound knowledge, Sarah ventured deeper into the Blackwood estate, her senses heightened and her resolve steeled. She encountered more hidden chambers, each containing clues to the dark history of the Blackwood family and the entities they had bargained with. But with knowledge came danger. Sarah found herself pursued by malevolent forces, shadows that seemed to have a life of their own, whispers that echoed with malice, and manifestations of ancient entities that defied comprehension. Yet, with each encounter, Sarah grew stronger. She learned to wield the powers bestowed upon her by the grimoire, channeling energies that warped reality itself. She became a force to be reckoned with, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. But the more she delved into the mysteries of the Blackwood estate, the more she realized that there were darker forces at play. The legacy of Elias Blackwood was not just a tale of ancient pacts and cursed bloodlines, it was a web of deceit, manipulation, and betrayal that spanned centuries. Sarah uncovered hidden truths, betrayals among the Blackwood family, alliances forged with malevolent entities, and a grand design that threatened to plunge the world into chaos. And at the center of it all was a being of unimaginable power, a being whose very existence threatened to unravel the fabric of reality. As Sarah pieced together the puzzle, she realized that her journey was far from over. The Guardian had warned her of a looming darkness, a darkness that sought to claim her newfound powers for its own twisted purposes. With determination burning in her heart, Sarah vowed to confront the darkness head-on. She would unravel the mysteries of the Blackwood legacy, expose the truth hidden within the shadows, and confront the ancient entity that lurked at the heart of it all. The mansion groaned and shifted, its walls seeming to close in around Sarah as she prepared for the final confrontation. The air crackled with arcane energy, and the very fabric of reality seemed to warp and bend. And as Sarah stood on the precipice of destiny, ready to face whatever horrors awaited her, she knew that the true horror of the Blackwood legacy was yet to be revealed. Sarah stood at the threshold of the final chamber within the Blackwood estate, her heart pounding in anticipation and dread. The air crackled with malevolent energy, and the shadows seemed to twist and writhe like living entities. With the grimoire clutched tightly in her hand, Sarah steeled herself for what lay ahead. She could sense the ancient entity's presence, a looming darkness that threatened to consume everything in its path. As she stepped into the chamber, the atmosphere grew even more oppressive. Symbols etched into the walls glowed with an eerie light, casting grotesque shadows that danced across the floor. The air was thick with the scent of decay and ancient magic. At the center of the chamber stood a towering figure, a manifestation of the ancient entity that had plagued the Blackwood family for generations. Its form was nebulous, shifting and changing as if struggling to maintain a physical presence in the mortal realm. Sarah, the entity's voice echoed through the chamber, a cacophony of whispers and roars. You dare to challenge the legacy of the Blackwoods? You are but a pawn in a game far beyond your understanding. Sarah squared her shoulders, her resolve unshaken. I will not be a pawn in anyone's game, she declared, her voice ringing with determination. I will unravel the truth, no matter the cost. The entity laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. You think you can defy me? I am the embodiment of ancient power, of darkness that predates the very fabric of reality. You are nothing but a fleeting mortal, a speck of dust in the grand scheme of things. Undeterred, Sarah raised the grimoire, channeling the energies within. Arcane symbols glowed on her skin, and a surge of power flowed through her veins. She spoke words of ancient power, invoking forces that even the entity could not ignore. The chamber trembled as the clash of energies erupted, reality warping and twisting around them. Shadows coalesced into monstrous forms, and the very walls of the estate seemed to rebel against the intrusion of such immense power. Sarah and the entity battled on, their conflict escalating into a cataclysmic struggle that threatened to tear the fabric of the universe apart. Spells collided, energies clashed, and the air crackled with raw magic. In a final, desperate gambit, Sarah unleashed a burst of pure energy from the grimoire, a blast of light that engulfed the chamber in blinding radiance. The entity howled in agony, its form dissipating like smoke in the wind. But as the light faded, Sarah realized the cost of her victory. The Blackwood estate crumbled around her, the ancient magic that bound it to the entity unraveling. She staggered through collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris as reality itself seemed to unravel. With a final burst of effort, Sarah stumbled out of the estate, collapsing on the ground outside as the mansion collapsed in on itself in a storm of dust and rubble. As she lay there, battered and bruised but victorious, Sarah knew that her journey was far from over. The Blackwood legacy had been shattered, but the darkness that had fueled it still lingered, waiting to be unleashed once more. With the grimoire clutched tightly to her chest, Sarah made a vow to use her newfound knowledge and power to prevent such horrors from ever happening again. She would be a guardian against the darkness, a beacon of hope in a world plagued by ancient evils. But as she looked up at the ruins of the Blackwood estate, a sense of unease settled over her. She couldn't shake the feeling that something far darker and more insidious lurked in the shadows, waiting for its chance to rise again. The forest echoed with the sounds of destruction, the remnants of the cursed legacy fading into memory. But Sarah knew that the true horror of the Blackwood estate would never truly be forgotten.